Does anyone know this, what Mr. John Zeman did for a living before he became MC here tonight? He was a principal of a school. Hence, that he demands an undiluted measure of attention. In fact, he was principal of Hillcrest Public School. I'm very pleased to be with you here. On behalf of my wife and on behalf of the London office, of course. It's always great, and the people there need to be quiet. It's always great to be here for events. Over the years that I have been involved with the consulate, the honorary consulate, I've had the pleasure of being here many times, and very often I saw this as a home away from home. And we're very pleased to get to know a lot of you, and I must say that the members of the Dutch Canadian Society, that they really have a very dear spot in my heart. Tonight I have the honor of introducing our new Consul General. As you know, that the former Consul General is Johan Kramer, that just moved to sunnier spots. It's the northern part of Italy. And lo and behold, that we are receiving the Consul General who came from even sunnier spots. And I have to question his sanity first of all before I introduce him. Because I'm going to ask you here, and all of you have had some experience with the Canadian winters, of course. Who of you would change the Canadian winters for Caribbean sunshine and palm trees? Raise your hand. And if anyone of you do, you need to come and see me during my spare time in my office. And you know what I'm doing there too. Anyhow, the Consul General, Rohrbach, and his very pleasant, attractive wife, Sonia, have just arrived from Port of Spain. And Port of Spain, as you know, is in Trinidad, and the heer Rohrbach that was in charge over that whole Caribbean island, including Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, the ABC, the Triple S Islands that we all know from geography. And did a very admirable job. He's been in the diplomatic services for 30 years. He was born, and I'm going to ask you a question again, in Gulpen. Anybody knows where Gulpen is? Raise your right hand, or your left for that matter. Limburg, the very southern part of Limburg. And I learned that today, of course, because I got my special geography class. Anyhow, and if you ladies smile about that name, so let's slow down here, let's slow down. But anyhow, he was born in Gulpen, South Limburg. And that Mrs. Sonia Bakker, Miss Sonia Bakker, as his spouse, was born in The Hague. And they met in Hanoi. When Hanoi was still full-fledged, anti-imperialist, communist and so on, and you needed visas to get out of Hanoi. This is where Mr. Rohrbach made his move. And it was a very smooth move, as we say here, because that his wife-to-be also worked at the embassy in Hanoi there.
Dames en heren, ladies and gentlemen, leden van de Canadian Dutch Association. Voor mij, and I start in Dutch, I hope you don't mind, I will continue in English. But for me it's a great privilege, een groot voorrecht, om hier vanavond te mogen zijn bij deze gelegenheid van de 50th anniversary of your association. I think what I witnessed today, in the few hours I've been here in London, our honorary consul has shown me around in your beautiful city. I know not all of you live in the city, many of you live outside of the city, but I was impressed by how green, how beautiful the city is. And I can imagine that you enjoy living here. But what impressed me first and for all was the fact that there were so many important authorities. Unfortunately, they had to leave us, but the fact that they were here today, I think, is a testimony how much your presence is valued here. And I think that is what unites us here. I'm the Consul General of the Netherlands. Most of you here present have Dutch roots, or Dutch acquaintances, or have been married to Dutchmen. And I think you have fully adapted into Canada. You love Canada. I heard you started off with the Canadian national anthem without failure. You later on greeted the Dutch Queen. But I think it shows how much you have adapted to here. But I think the fact that everybody of you is here tonight is also a sign that your Dutch roots are important. And I think this for me and for my wife is something that we appreciate enormously. And that we can be here and be part of that. Our honorary consul, who was so kind to introduce me very eloquently, has told me your history society is rich and definitive. I heard it started all off with playing soccer at a German club. I think you beat even the Germans at that time. Richard told me, to using the Polish Hall for festivities. Your founding fathers and mothers, although busy carving out a living in the new country, had a vision that encompassed your past in the Netherlands, a present wish to provide for a social context in the new country where you are, and a desire to preserve the rich historical ambience the Dutch are famous for. In other words, de beroemde en beruchte Nederlandse gezelligheid. And I think that is what we're all witnessing here. I think the food was excellent, the ambience was excellent, and I hope later on to have the opportunity to meet many of you personally. I think I'm told that you are one of the only Dutch-Canadian association that wholly owns an old club building. And I can congratulate you on that. I think the club building is magnificent. I visited the showroom downstairs and I wish to congratulate it. But it is, of course, very nice to have a venue where you can have all kinds of festivities, sometimes sad festivities, sometimes less sad, very cheerful, like today. I think 50 years of existence that deserves a congratulation. You recognized, and you still do, the common bond that a shared responsibility and a joint hope for the future within this large and beautiful country of Canada that you choose as your second home, and in which your children and your grandchildren have been enriched as a result of your unambiguous desire to add to your quality and their quality of life. You members of the Dutch-Canadian Society may be truly proud in your accomplishments and contributions to the city and surroundings. The testimony was, as I said earlier, the presence of such high dignitaries that we met this night. In closing, or before closing, I wish to recognize that we have present today here, and they had the honor to cut the cake tonight, that are the only original founders, Mr. and Mrs. Huisman, who are here tonight. Would you please rise? I think that is very well deserved, and it is thanks to them, I think, to a large degree, that we are here today. Can I ask them to step forward, because I have a very small present for them. I would appreciate if you would take the effort to come forward. Laat ik zeggen hoe wij het gewaardeerd hebben, mevrouw en ik, om hier vanavond te mogen zijn. Ik hoop nogmaals persoonlijk met velen van u kennis te maken. Lukt dat niet, want er zijn zoveel vanavond, dan doe ik dat graag een volgende keer. I think our first visit to London, as the honorary consul said, we did it very quickly after our arrival. We are hardly 1 month in the country, but I hope this will be the first of many other visits to come, and I would welcome to be here and continue the very good and very friendly contacts with you. Thank you very much.